Ted Hastings holds the record for wearing the most t-shirts at the same time. In total, 260. He had to be assisted by several people, as his mobility and strength were greatly reduced. The t-shirts weighed over 50 kilograms. In the end, his face couldn't even be seen. Pretzels were created by a Catholic monk using leftover dough. Do you know why he gave them this shape? According to him, their shape symbolizes a child praying with crossed arms over their chest. He had a lot of imagination. Watch how they filmed the scene in the nightclub for John Wick 4. People are dancing without music. Only the noises of the fight can be heard. Play Panka is a bench and smartphone amplifier made of marble. You can place your smartphone here and listen to music while sitting. The women of the Himba tribe in Africa cover their hair with otjize, a mixture of tree resin, animal fat, and red ochre. This would be the size of the colossal titan if it existed in our world. Look at it next to the Statue of Liberty. Watch how stingrays eat. In Liberty, they do it against the seafloor. These are not what they seem. They are silicone dabbers. This is a way to paint irregular surfaces such as deep plates and cups. Whistling Diesel put 3-meter wheels on his Tesla. The best part was when he drove it upside down. The Titanic was not as big as you thought. Here you can see it next to a modern cruise ship. This is how breakdancing looks from the point of view of a camera on the dancer's leg. This is the sustainable alternative for linking soda cans. No more plastic. It is made 100% of cardboard. Very popular brands are already using it in some countries. These are the sausage hands from the movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once at the Same Time. They are silicone gloves. The curious thing is that they are for sale. For $36, you can have sausage hands. He is Alan Khan and has one of the highest speed and coordination when hitting the boxing pair. Roman Boutin carves and customizes coins from different parts of the world and turns them into mechanical works of art. Each one has a hidden mechanism, and each of his works is unique and handmade, although he also sells replicas on this page. This is the speed at which a sloth hits. You didn't expect it, right? It takes up to 5 caregivers to move them from place to place. They are very strong. Speaking of sloths, have you ever seen their ears? They are very similar to those of humans. The sculpture Karma in New York State looks very tall, but in reality, it is an optical illusion. It is 7 meters high. This is a pearlfish, and it has a strange relationship with sea cucumbers. When they need shelter, they hide in their rectum. Some brands still paint their balls in the traditional way. This is a box turtle. Unlike other species, these can close their shell completely. The bottom of their shell, called plastron, works as a kind of hinge that allows them to open and close it whenever they want. Alex Roca Campillo is the first person with a 76% physical disability to finish a marathon. Did you know that dwarf elephants exist? This specimen, found in Sri Lanka, measures only 1.5 meters in height. These are the cups they use at the International Space Station. Their design prevents liquid from spilling out. Ahmad Frizur applies an excessive amount of hair gel to his clients' heads. He molds it and creates hairstyles like this. It looks like you've had ice cream on your head. In this installation at the Minnesota Science Museum, you can compare your speed with that of other people, athletes, and a Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is Toby, a border collie with two noses. It is actually one nose, but divided into two parts. It is a birth defect. This machine helps professional divers perfect their movements and spins out of the water. Gloria Aste has a birthmark that covers her torso almost completely. It looks like she has two skin colors. Many people remove the crust from bread. This is silly, as it is made from the same bread. To avoid wasting food, a brand has created bread with a white crust. Acrobat Quentin Gecko works for Cirque du Soleil. This is one of his latest routines. These stickers have their own light. See how they look at night. They work with batteries. The GTA one is our favorite. Red Bull pilot Luke Sepiela managed to land a plane on the helipad of the Burj Al Arab in Dubai. It measures only 27 meters. This is the posture that owls adopt to camouflage themselves in trees. They contract their muscles and feathers to appear taller and thinner. These were some of the first car air conditioners. They work with water, which cools the air as it evaporates. The cool air comes out here. This must be one of the most interesting watches in the world. The hours, minutes, and seconds are differentiated by color and size. This is a quad stick, a video game controller for people without limbs. They are compatible with all consoles and computers. It has a joystick, 4 pressure sensors, and a lip position sensor. Parahawking is a variant of paragliding practiced in the company of a trained bird of prey. The birds are trained to guide the pilot to the upward air currents that allow them to gain height and fly long distances effortlessly. This is a drummer who works in an office. Who else needs this supermarket cart? The basket can be detached and slid into your car trunk. The vocalization of a cheetah. It sounds like a bird. This keyboard has a touch screen. You can use it as a second monitor to do several things at once. Have you ever wondered what they use in movies to make the actors look wet? Hint: it's not water. Alcohol-free hair gel. Did you know that the kitten in The Godfather movie was not in the script? The production found it on the set and decided to include it in the film to show the character's kind side. It was so comfortable that we can hear its purring through Marlon Brando's microphone. This is the most powerful magnet on the planet. For April Fool's Day, Pizza Hut in Taiwan sold zero-damage pizzas. It's a ring of light crust that doesn't make you fat or bloat your stomach. You can wear it as a necklace like this man. Do you remember the dog that acted with Will Smith in I Am Legend? Her name is Abby, and this is how she looks today at 16 years old. Disney released a breakfast-flavored ramen, pancakes with egg, sausage, and syrup. Does it appeal to you? Did you know that in case of emergency, hospital medical staff must take babies out in these vests? Each one can hold 3 newborns. Would you attend a wedding at 120 meters high? This is how Ryan Jenks and Kimberly Wengling got married. The only thing separating them from the cliff was a colorful net suspended in 5 points. Look how the bride's father almost falls. Fortunately, they were attached with safety harnesses. This is a 10-story building. They are common in most cities around the world. It looks tall, right? Look how it looks next to the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa. It looks tiny. This is officially the coolest McDonald's in the world. It has a plane inside where you can eat your food. If you want to check it out, you will have to travel to New Zealand. The best part is that it still has the pilot's cockpit in good condition. Many of the horses you see in movies are not real. This company manufactures mechanical horses like this one to make the riskiest and most complicated shots. This way, they avoid animals getting hurt. Look how they used it in The Last of Us. Did you notice that the container inside Kinder Surprise eggs is yellow? Because an egg white is this color? Brilliant move. The cue shows us this bridge made of coins without a drop of glue. The arrangement of the coins and the structure's shape is what keeps it strong. The Gorgon Macarena moth feeds almost exclusively on tears from sleeping birds. They get liquid, salt, and proteins from there. Heinz did something very clever to prevent restaurants from refilling their bottles with tomato sauce from other brands. They excessively tinted the edges of their label. The sauce is exactly the same color as their sauce, so if the ketchup is a different color, you can tell it's fake. This is Benjamin Langholtz's Ascending Stone sculpture. This art installation doesn't really have a purpose. Still, I'd like to climb on it. This is Kiara, a dog that plays volleyball. Honestly, I think she's better than me. To create special effects in cinema, they use green or blue screens. In the case of Power Rangers, they must use both. Otherwise, the blue Power Ranger wouldn't show up. This is the Robo-Keeper, the world's best robotic goalkeeper. His reflexes are incredible. You have to make a perfect shot to score. Tim Fowl Creations makes food-inspired earrings. Look at these churros, pork rinds, and pizza. The character Boo from Super Mario is based on one of the game designer's wives. According to the story, Takashi Tezuka's wife was shy and kind, but when she got angry, she was terrifying. In the game, the ghosts are shy at the end, but if they are ignored for too long, they become evil, just like his wife. This is the size of a common tick. This is one that had a good meal. And this one had a feast. Check out this video game that combines a projector's projection with a pop-up book. The character interacts with pieces and 3-dimensional figures. Each page is a different level. Have you seen waves in the sky? This instability is known as Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds, and they are very rare. These clouds form when there is a difference in wind speed or direction. This meatball is made from woolly mammoth meat. How is this possible? The food company Bao used the DNA sequence of this extinct animal to recreate the shape, texture, and flavor of its meat. This is a liquid tree, a project that helps fight urban pollution. This green liquid is filled with millions of microscopic algae that clean the air through photosynthesis. They were designed for places where there isn't much vegetation like in big cities. The microalgae clean the equivalent of 2 trees aged 10 years. In the United States, it's common for people to marry themselves. This is called sologamy. It's not entirely legal, but people do it anyway. Some have ceremonies and give themselves engagement rings. Miss Chief did it again. This time they released shoes that you can wear both ways. This is funny. If you had them, which side would you use more? This is the strength of a Belgian draft horse. Look at it dragging 18 men as if it were nothing. This is the mold used to make the Ronald McDonald statues that were on the benches at the restaurants. Lalit Patel was born with an extremely rare condition called hypertrichosis, also known as werewolf syndrome. Only 50 people in history have suffered from it. The seeds of the Ruellia tuberosa plant explode when they come in contact with water. This is how your phone's screen looks under a microscope. Japanese airlines care about their customers' luggage. This is the plastic mold used for hair prostheses. Fake hair is placed on it and glued to the head with adhesive. When you arrive in New Zealand, you are not allowed to disembark the plane until the flight attendants spray insecticide on your luggage. This is to prevent invasive insects from entering the country and destroying native plants. Watch how Pablo Rocha trolls people with earpod stickers. X-Bang creates tattoos that change shape with body movement. Look what happens when they stretch the leg or arm. The job of these 3 border collies is to scatter seeds on the ground of Chilean forests destroyed by fire. Watch how they fall as they run. Each one distributes 9 kilos of seeds in an area of more than 20 kilometers. This bag was made from pieces of a meteorite that fell to Earth 55,000 years ago. It costs $42,000. This is how chameleons are born. A slightly tough start. Another job we lose against robots. They can now put on false lashes. The Heinz ketchup brand released red tattoo ink. It comes in the same sachets as the ketchup. Watch these 2 ants pull a cockroach by its antennas. They can carry 10 to 50 times their body weight. Whose skeleton do you think this belongs to? A vampire? Slender Man? These are the bones of a gibbon, a primate with very long arms. This is how the inside of a tiger shark's mouth looks like. It's not what you expected, right? Luckily, it spat it out and didn't get hurt. This is how astronauts' gloves are made. They are custom made. Those lines behind the circles on disposable cup lids are for this purpose. This is what happens if you try to cook a hard-boiled egg in the microwave. A buildup of steam inside the shell can cause the food to explode inside or outside the oven. Don't do it, it's dangerous. You could get burned. And speaking of eggs, did you know there is an exoplanet shaped like an egg? It's called WASP-12b and is 1.8 times larger than Jupiter. It's so close to its star that it's being absorbed. Nikon created a special camera for dogs that measures their heart rate and takes a photo when they get excited. These are some of the photos this little dog took. These are some of Mimi Choi's surreal makeups. She makes your brain short-circuit with her art. Can you distinguish which are her eyes and which are painted? He is Oliver Yooks, the tallest teenager in the world. He measures 2 meters and 28 centimeters and counting. He stands out wherever he goes. Lachanophobia is the irrational fear of vegetables. Many people do not like vegetables. However, in the case of lachanophobics, the dislike turns into a panic attack just by seeing or thinking about them. Another perspective shows us up close how snails are eaten. It looks like an alien. Chris Kyle and Red Bull did something incredible again. This is the tallest skate bowl in the world. It was suspended by a hot air balloon at 610 meters high. Chris wore an emergency parachute just in case. Did you know there is a fruit that alters the function of your taste buds? If you eat this berry, you won't be able to distinguish sour flavors for up to 30 minutes. Watch these people eat a lemon like it's nothing. Next time you make popcorn, pay attention to the end of the bag. You'll see there's a small opening. Shake the bag so the unpopped kernels come out. We've all heard about the sinking of the Titanic, but do you know where it sank? Right here. This was the route it followed. In Paris, you can take the bus bag to work. It's a marketing strategy to advertise Jacquemus bags. Metasci creates clay figures from confusing animal photos. Here you can see some. The spring dog, the bodybuilding dolphin, the dinosaur dog, the ball cat, and the cow cat. Check out their Instagram to see them all. This is how race car and extreme sports pilots keep their helmets clean and visibility. The visors are equipped with disposable lenses that the pilot can tear off if they get dirty. This is Anna, the prototype of a home cleaning robot. It is trained and programmed by a human specifically for the measurements and dimensions of your home. This is how spoons are made. Watch how they're cut. This machine presses the metal to shape it. And this is how forks are made. The metal is cut to form a fork shape. Another machine cuts the top and gives them the curve. This is a 2-ton axe. Watch how it destroys safes as if it were nothing. A brick wall and a huge stone. Did you know there is an app that you can only access when your battery is less than 5%? It's called Die With Me. It's a chat app where you can chat with people whose batteries are running out. At first glance, this looks like a very bad fashion show. All the clothes are white. Watch what happens when they come into contact with ultraviolet light. Members of a community in the Bay Islands, Brazil, recycle aluminum cans to make these sound costumes. In 2012, Arturo Valdenegro won a paper airplane throwing competition. His prize? A giant version of his design. It was 14 meters long and 7 meters wide. It was towed by a helicopter and thrown into the air. This is another incredible bike from YouTuber The Q. This is how it works. You didn't expect that, right? The tires are a band that rotates around the wheel frame. If you pour milk over Oreo cookies, you can see how the panda gets its colors. This is a special version of cookies called Oreo Panda. The brick wall built a sewing machine out of Lego pieces. It has no motor. It is operated manually as in the past. This is Harihar Fort in India. To reach the top, you have to climb its steep stairs carved into the mountain itself. It is open to the public at your own risk. This is what a rusty rake looks like up close. These are Sony's new spatial reality screens. They allow you to see 3D images without the need for special glasses or any other accessory. This is how a baby moves in the mother's womb when she laughs. The Irish Wolfhound is one of the tallest dogs in the world. Look at it compared to a German Shepherd. It's gigantic. They can measure up to 90 centimeters. Is that bag magical? These are collapsible safety cones. I didn't know they existed until today. Stratus clouds are low-lying clouds. Watch this one silently float over the sea. Did you know your tongue can be overweight? If your tongue is fat, there are exercises to tone it and make it lose weight. It is very helpful for people who snore. Caterpillars react to certain sound frequencies. It turns out that one of their predators is a type of fly that emits a sound similar to a human scream. This is their defense mechanism. How old were you when you found out you could do this? Cars have a place to put the cap while filling the tank. Yogurt lids in Japan are hydrophobic, which means nothing sticks to them. Licking the lid is the best part. In Scotland, there is a nighttime bungee in the middle of the forest. It's like jumping into the void. Can you imagine getting on a plane with circular wings? This is a prototype that theoretically can fly, but no manufacturer dares to make it. This is the Chopper Chopper, a car shaped like a shopping cart. It measures over 3 meters and is allowed to run on the street. Did you know that neutered lions do not grow a mane? Believe it or not, this is a male. When rats get excited, their eyes jump and bulge a little from their sockets. For a short time in the early 60s, McDonald's had a burger on their menu called the Hula Burger. It was a grilled pineapple slice and cheese between two buns. It wasn't very successful. Astronauts test their equipment and tools in the desert before going into space. It looks a bit clumsy, but it's very helpful. Did you know that square donuts exist? They take up the same space as round ones, but they have 27% more mass. Scott Hildebrandt builds miniature worlds inside antiques. Look at this McDonald's inside a telephone, and this disco inside a camera. This is how vehicle seats are inserted. These robotic arms make everything faster and more precise. The world record for the highest vertical jump by a human is 119 centimeters. J Laser Video broke this record with the help of engineering and compressed air. He reached 150 centimeters. This is the new way of pruning tree branches that have grown too much and pose a risk. With lasers. This is the size difference between two tarantulas. One eats insects and the other eats birds. Yes, you heard it right, it eats birds. Maitreya has the highest legal drinking age in the world. You need to be over 25 years old. This statue is one of the weirdest statues in the world. It is located at La Trobe University in Melbourne. Did you know that one of the first versions of the contract to acquire Leo Messi was signed on a napkin? Today, it is kept in a safety deposit box at a bank in Andorra. This is Chicken Island in Thailand. Just look at it for a few seconds to know where its original name comes from. A few decades ago, during golf tournaments, people were allowed to keep the balls at the end of a shot. It was complete chaos. This is a rare product, but I must admit it is very practical. It is used when public restroom doors do not have locks. These are some of the incredible mechanical animations by Shikaku Gangu. He creates them with objects he finds in his house. This was the only tree out of over 70,000 that survived the 2011 tsunami in Japan. Sadly, the increased salt in the soil caused it to dry up, but it is preserved in this place as a symbol of hope. This is how all pizza restaurant menus should be. See what happens when a drop of water hits a mosquito in mid-flight. Absolutely nothing. The exoskeleton of these insects is very light, allowing them to absorb impacts without being harmed. Did you know that science textbooks in Sri Lanka feature Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad on the cover? I think the graphic designer never watched the series and thought he was a real scientist. In Japan, there is a restaurant where the waiters have dementia. Even if they take your order, most of the time they forget or mix it up. You never know what dish will arrive at your table. Did you know about wheelchair tennis? In this variant, the ball can bounce twice. The effort they put in is impressive. Have you ever wondered why the power on-off symbol has that shape? It is a combination of these two symbols that were used in the past. These are a 1 and a 0, which mean on and off. Around the world, hotels throw away millions of unused or barely used soap bars. Fortunately, most of them are recycled. They are cleaned, and the superficial layers of each soap are removed. They are then given to homeless people and communities in need around the world. To prevent men from urinating on the streets, the city government of Amsterdam installed hundreds of public urinals. It is something strange that is not seen in many countries. The waiters at this restaurant in China use roller skates. If you think it is dangerous, you are right. There are accidents daily. This is an English pouter pigeon. The video is not fake. This is how they look after years of selective breeding. This is one of the strangest fast food items ever created. KFC's Double Down Dog. It is a hot dog, but with chicken instead of bread. It may not look bad in advertising, but in real life, Hashim Ghadersade has the smallest hands in the world. They measure just 6.4 centimeters. These are prairie chickens. At dawn, the males gather in groups and start their show. This is why your tongue hurts after eating pineapple. If we look at the fruit under a microscope, microscopic needles can be seen. These calcium crystals irritate our tongue. Cockroaches use their legs to give powerful kicks to their attackers. This is Hyundai's new parking system. It also allows for 360-degree turns in one place, and using one of the tires as a pivot. See how armadillos gather leaves and stems to make their nests. These are free skates, a hybrid between a skateboard and roller skates. It looks fun, but also dangerous. Inside spray paints, there is a metal or glass ball. Do you know what it is for? To mix the components well. Inside the can rests the paint, propellants, and solvents. These need to be mixed well for it to work. The South Korean national taekwondo team is on another level. Have you ever heard a chicken sneeze? What you are seeing is frozen water inside a pipe. Sometimes hens lay eggs like this. It is very rare, usually occurring when their diet contains too much calcium and vitamin D. During the pandemic, some people taught their parrots to make video calls. Watch how happy they get when they see each other. Giuseppe Cuna is the current Italian beatbox champion. Watching a few seconds of his routine will leave no doubt as to why. This is the Guinness World Record for the longest line of dogs performing a conga. The red lights of the traffic lights in Akureyri, Iceland, are in the shape of a heart. They say it is to send positive vibes to drivers. Have you noticed that birds always turn the same way when perched on wires? This is because their bodies and feathers are designed to flow with the wind. If you see birds turning in other directions, it is because there is no wind. Scarlet Earring is a game where all character animations were embroidered in real life. This is a good tip if you ever want to dry your sneakers in the dryer. Use the laces to tie them up and prevent them from getting damaged. This year in Italy, the annual cardboard boat race takes place. The teams consist of 5 people. The boat that goes the farthest wins, but they also give prizes for the most original design. This is how astronauts scratch their nose and face when they itch. They use this, a Valsalva valve whose main purpose is to clear their ears by blowing air through the nose. Speaking of space, did you know you can take a tour of the space station on Google Maps? Bobby has just become the oldest dog in the world. As of today, he is 30 years and 277 days old. Normally, dogs of his breed, Portuguese Mastiff, live 12 to 14 years. Bobby has more than double that. Let's hope the time he has left is very happy. This dessert shop is run by a cat. It had to be in Japan. Listen to how he talks and answers customers' questions. I don't know if it's adorable or terrifying. Did you know there is such a thing as extreme unicycling? Do they want to die? This is how the Canadian Army wakes up soldiers who fell asleep on duty. The Rockfish Band uses remote-controlled balloon animals during their concerts. It looks like they're underwater. Palp designed this simple invention using a soda bottle and Mentos capsules. Its purpose is to wake him up in case he falls asleep. This is the sand on some beaches of the Dead Sea. They are salt crystals. This is how many car scenes in action movies are recorded. The most curious thing is how they operate the machine, with a small miniature replica. This is a photo of the lunar surface. Can you find something specific in it? A bear. Here is its nose, mouth, and eyes. Can you believe that on eBay, they sell water from Splash Mountain roller coaster that closed its doors just a few days ago? It costs $5,000. During the rainy season in Germany, they install fences on the sides of the road so cars don't run over frogs. A person helps them cross at the end of the day. At first glance, it looks like this car was cut with a giant katana. This is how many brands show the functioning and hidden spaces of their vehicles. To raise money for animals, the Toronto Zoo offers people to name one of their cockroaches after their ex. They send a message to their phone notifying them that they share a name with a small, dirty cockroach. In Japan, ice cream lasts longer without melting. This is because they add an extra ingredient extracted from strawberries, polyphenol. This makes the ice cream stay frozen for much longer. A new sport is gaining popularity among Russians, car jitsu, wrestling in a car. Imagination and human stupidity have no limits. Soon you will be able to taste food from your phone screen. A Japanese inventor has created sheets that cover the screens of devices. Just lick them. Video games for gamer dogs. Jianzi is a traditional Asian game in which players try to keep a shuttlecock with feathers in the air with their feet. Squid skin reacts to touch. In Japan, they live in 2030. See how easy it is to put butter and honey on your pancakes. This map shows the dream job of the inhabitants of each country. In Mexico and Latin America, people want to be YouTubers or influencers. In North America, an aviation pilot. What do you think? Some people's nose cartilage is so soft they can do this. A Chinese company introduced transparent toilets to the market. I hope they don't put them in public bathrooms. It would be really unpleasant. Have you heard of sailor cats? These traveled aboard ships and their job was to eliminate rodents. The curious thing is that they have official identification. See how they signed with their little paw. This is how the brand division closed its fashion show. The concept of the parade was to dress for the parade. Well, I think they did it. The Lake District National Park in the UK has a peculiar emergency system, a jetpack ambulance. Well, a jetpack paramedic, rather. This device allows it to reach the most remote and distant places within minutes. There are several theories on the origin of the word taco. Some say it comes from the Nahuatl tlaco, which means halfway or in the middle, which makes a lot of sense. Others say it comes from the word cuautacuali, a type of tortilla whose name was difficult for the Spaniards to pronounce, who pronounced it as tacuali, and over time degenerated into taco. This kitty has a job. It's a fashion designer. Did you know that if you gather 23 people, there is a 50% probability that at least 2 of them share the same birthday? In a group of 57, it is 99%. Sky Pool is a pool 150 meters high with a glass bottom. It is located in an apartment building in Houston, Texas. Have you ever seen those glasses that fill from the bottom up? That's how they work. When they enter the machine, the dispenser lifts a thin magnet that allows the liquid to enter. See how it seals when leaving the dispenser. Had you ever seen this animal? It is a gaur, a wild bovine from India. This company sells molds with textures to give an elegant finish to your ice cubes. How elegant! Titi monkeys intertwine their tails with their partners and close family members. Part of the town of Setenil de las Bodegas in Spain is under a huge rock formation. This is the worst thing that could happen to a person with ornithophobia. These sailors found a huge flock of birds out at sea. This clock was painted with Vanta Black, the darkest paint in the world. This is how insects affected by the fungus from The Last of Us cordyceps look in real life. Fortunately, it is harmless to humans. In fact, we can eat it without any danger. There are all kinds of supplements containing it online. The next time you use tape, cut it like this.
Peel it to the length you want. Fold it over and under itself. Forms a triangle like this. Place your thumb over it to hold it, and then rip. That way, creates a little tab, so that way you can easily peel and grab your next piece. Then when it's time to bust them, you can easily peel them off.
In South Korea, trees have a better healthcare system than humans. See how this tree is administered saline solution in preparation for winter. As clumsy as it may seem, this is an authentic pirate flag. Not everyone had the wooden walls. This is how the window lift mechanism in cars works. From late April to early May, more than 5 million blue nemophilas bloom in Hitachi Seaside Park in Japan. It is a spectacle of nature. IKEA launched a campaign in a Swedish magazine where you could find out if you were pregnant without having to spend on a test. Just put a few drops of urine on one of its pages, and it would show you a discount for the crib if you were pregnant. The Swedish company Mocycle Jeans released a pair of denim pants specially designed for motorcyclists. You might think, what's so special about them? But can your jeans do this? Inside, there are airbags that deploy in case of an accident. Long-distance couples can now experience the sensation of kissing with this latest invention. It consists of silicone lips that, when connected to your smartphone, replicate and send the movements of your lips to another device. Yes, you heard that right. It's not April Fool's Day. This chubby kitty named Gasek has one of the highest ratings on Google Maps, 4.9 out of 5 stars. It has over 1,000 reviews. He lives on the streets of the city of Szczecin, Poland. This is the speed of an average person running. And this is Usain Bolt's. This is Emma, and this is how her face looks when experiencing 9 Gs of force aboard an acrobatic plane. Angel Alvarado holds the new Guinness World Record for juggling and solving 3 Rubik's Cubes simultaneously. Watch it in slow motion. His skill is incredible. This can happen on the skin of people with circulatory and fluid retention problems. This is the world's oldest teddy bear. It is estimated to be 2,300 years old. It was found frozen in the mountains of Siberia. It is made from felt wool from sheep and reindeer fur. Did you know there is an app to blow out candles? It doesn't actually blow. It extinguishes them with sound waves. These cat scratchers are decorated with some of the most famous paintings in history. They include a base for your cat to comfortably destroy them. Have you ever wondered how a female porcupine gives birth to babies with so many spines? It sounds painful, doesn't it? The reality is that at birth and during the first few days of life, the quills of the offspring are very thin. They look like hair. As they grow, they harden. This movement that seals do to move from side to side is called galloping. This is how car mats are made. First, the plastic sheet is heated and inflated, then it is placed over the mold and the air is vacuumed out. Michael Tolotos never met a woman in his life. 82 years. His mother died just 4 hours after his birth. He was raised by a group of monks in a monastery and never left there. The tufted ground squirrel has the largest tail in the world in proportion to the size of its body. This is how cameramen film car races. This movement is known as whip panning. Did you know pinball existed? The objective of the game is simple. Catch and control the ball before it touches the ground. Points are awarded when a team drops the giant ball. This is not a video effect. It's a real piece of furniture. It plugs into electricity and spins some of its shelves. The leaves of the succulent Senecio peregrinus are dolphin-shaped. This is how chocolate popsicles are made. Nuts are added to the hot chocolate mixture. Watch how they dip the popsicles and let them hang to remove the excess. These are the basketballs of the future. They are 3D printed and have no air inside. They are completely hollow. Those who have tried them say they bounce and feel just like a classic basketball. Could they be the future? Thor Bjornsson, the 2018 world's strongest man, uses his wife as a dumbbell for exercise. In this red side video, we can see the total mass of each animal species represented in a meatball. It's just an estimate, but a very curious comparison. Look at the size of the mosquito meatball. These are the three largest: humans, livestock, and krill. This is the fastest commercial in the world. That's it. It lasts 0.57 seconds. If we slow it down, we can see what it's about. This must be one of the greatest cosplays in history. This insect pees faster than a cheetah accelerates. Look at the speed at which it does it. Tube object shows us how plastic caps are separated when opening soft drinks. I had never seen it from this angle before. This art installation by Joan Bourgeois plays with gravity, centrifugal force, and inertia. This platform generates enough force so that people don't fall despite being in illogical and seemingly impossible positions. This is how wind turbine technicians climb to give them maintenance. There is a kind of elevator inside. Every year at Disney parks, the Festival of the Arts takes place, where one of the activities is to paint a group painting. Each person is given a number and some paint. Just paint your square, and that's it. This is the final result. This is one of the smallest chessboards in the world. It measures 2.5 by 2.5 centimeters. Best of all, you can take it anywhere because it's a ring. Look at how the pieces are stored inside. It was made by Joe Turner. Did you know they could remove all color from a room? You just need a monochromatic light source that illuminates at a single wavelength. Everything will appear black and white like this room by Olafur Eliasson. Did you know your car could do this? You can make the handle stay in place just by lowering this part. In Japan, there are all sorts of arcade games that you won't see anywhere else in the world. This is one of the most original. This device projects your head onto a group of screens that form a head. It was designed to replace people who cannot physically attend a conference. It's actually pretty ugly. This lunar replica by Luc Jerome is on a scale of 1 to 500,000, meaning it is 7 meters wide. The level of detail is impressive. It travels the world making appearances in museums and galleries. The jaguarundi is a wild cat from America that shares certain characteristics with otters and weasels. It is very rare to find videos of them. They are very shy and easily frightened. These pens were confiscated from a law student during an exam. He had all the answers written on them. Well, if he doesn't make it as a lawyer, his future is definitely in art. This is the Step into the Void, an attraction in the French Alps at over 3,700 meters high. Watch as they seem to step into nothing. Menga holds the Guinness World Record for stacking the most wooden blocks on a single vertical piece. In total, there were 1,512. Here you can see how he did it. Some cars already display on their screens the time you have to wait for the traffic light to turn green. How do they do it? This technology accesses the traffic and infrastructure networks of cities. It is planned that in the future all cars will be able to do it. Do you know what this is? It's a grain of salt seen under a microscopic lens. It's the closest you'll see sand in your life.